Hi. Hi, everyone. Could we, yeah, OK, thanks. OK, so today I'm going to talk to you about something that we've been working on for the last really number of months, but this is a product that has been live for about 1 month. I'm very excited about it. It's not just me. It's also a team that is working full-time to bring this to you. And so, yeah, without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Optimus, our DeFi AI agent. So first, I want to start with a little bit of groundwork. Why agents? Why DeFi agents? What's the product space? And what's the problem? So DeFi started with an interesting vision, right? That these services should be available cross jurisdictions, and that they shouldn't be limited by some third party that may not have that person's interest in mind. And as it turns out, it does have some utility. You know, I mean, these protocols have billions of dollars of TVL, real users, persistent users. But it's also gotten quite a bit more complex since its nascence, since its launch. And so what I'm showing you here is a little bit of an empirical portrayal so that we can all get on the same page. Over time, we have categories of DeFi categories, and then stablecoin supply. So here we are in 2025, $250 billion. It wasn't always that way, but it's split up over ever more categories. So if math isn't really your thing, I've drawn a picture. This is a normalized difficulty rating. And so here we have the same categories, the ones that we showed just in the slide previous, with more time, more categories. And so I'll tell you what I've done, and then I'll show you. I've taken the TVL, divided it by stablecoin supply, which is a measure of participation, divided then by all of the categories. And so what we have here is a normalized low at DeFi summer, of course, when it was really easy to make money in DeFi, and then it goes up. But what's interesting here, and I was actually surprised when I made this, is that we find that currently, I mean, there's a consensus that we are in a bull market, but it's almost as hard as it ever has been to do well in DeFi, so to speak. Agents are necessary because DeFi is now very complex, and the average person that comes to this market can't be expected to do well. And so we're building towards an answer to that. It's Optimus. So Optimus is meant to be a DeFi agent that is entirely autonomous. You give it essentially a set of what you may be interested in, but even without that, it will still operate and make money for you. And then this is just, honestly, it's a screen grab from what your agent would look like. By the way, it's co-owned and run locally on your machine. And so you can see here your portfolio, your ROI, what protocols that you allow it to interact with, and then also what protocols of those allowed will it actually interact with. And then down here, an exciting feature, this chat UI, is where this agent actually becomes yours. It's not some set of permission keys. It's your wallets owned on your machine. And if you care to do so, you can tell the agent exactly what you would like it to do, but most importantly, what you would not like it to do. I'll come back to that at the end. And so one might wonder, like, what these agents are doing to make money, and if they actually do make money, or what's the things that they manage to do on chain. Sorry. And so I can tell you that Optimus is complex. It deals with all of the things that you would need to do to make money on chain. It defines risk. It determines expected value. It's the only agent on chain that I'm aware of that allocates into concentrated liquidity pools. And to do so, it runs hundreds of thousands of simulations to optimize these bands. This is all stuff Optimus does, so you don't have to. As the end user, all you see is a little widget on your machine, your portfolio, and ideally an ROI that's ever increasing. Yeah. And so as a measure of what Optimus is actually doing, like, it's well and good to come up here and tell a story, but what the agent actually, the performance of the agent is of course relevant as well. And so since launch, this is the APR of Optimus. Optimus is designed to be conservative most of the time, and then taking directional exposure when it feels the expected value to do so is very high. And so throughout this month, it's had an APR of up to 100% and stabilized around high 20s. And so as a benchmark of this, or as a comparison, I've taken, with the assumptions of just a random allocation into the equal weighting of the CoinMarketCap top 100 tokens. Of course, this last month, as was previously mentioned, pretty volatile one geopolitically. But your average return in the market would have been negative 0.6%, and Optimus is 1.94 for an annualized APR of like 43% or so. Right. And as a measure of relative difference, it's, this month alone outperformed the market with the assumptions that I mentioned by about 400%. Yeah. So as I mentioned before, there is this philosophy that we should take agents are these platforms that should do things for you, but they, in my opinion, this whole pursuit, this whole endeavor would be a failure if it just took a set of rules-based yield optimization parameters and wrapped it into an agent with an LLM and then just did the same thing anyway. The design philosophy is to take models and bring it into the core of the agent so that you can have an input onto these models and then have a sovereign autonomous agent doing things for you in the real world that are very tightly aligned with what your actual demand profile is. Because otherwise, we haven't actually solved the problem of DeFi. It may now be usable, but for what user? These agents are yours. You own them. And therefore, its demand profile should be very closely aligned with yours. And last point I'll make is that this chat UI it allows space for a very complex, highly sophisticated user. So by design, Optimus has a minimally offensive experience when you first comment. It will just make yield for you and safe. But you can tell the agent to be aggressive. You can even define your expected value per trade, and it understands that. It graphs it on back into its decision-making models, into its opportunity selection, models that it uses. Anyways, I'm not up here to talk about models that it's using. That's the whole point of why agents exist, is that it just should work. And Optimus does. So if you're interested in learning more, you can just scan the QR code. If you have any questions, that's my X, and get in touch. I'm really happy to answer any questions that you have, but also just have any conversations with real users that encounter these real problems. Because ultimately, what we're building, myself, Olas, and the team behind Optimus, is meant to be built for you. Thanks very much.